Hey, congratulations to Ichiro. You are in the Hall of Fame. Nobody doubted that you would make it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe when you faced him even back in 2001, his rookie
When he first
year,
came over?
you might have been like,
when he
damn.
won Rookie of the Year and MVP the same year, was the damnedest thing I ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he revolutionized, changed baseball with the way what he was doing it from the leadoff spot. 3,000 plus hits here, over 1,000 in Japan, so over 4,000 hits. Congrats, Ichi. I was proud to say I got to play with you in 2002 in the Japan series as a teammate. You were unbelievable. You were an awful adversary, though, because trying to get you out was next to impossible. So congratulations, Ichiro. I'm happy for you and your family. And you're the first ever Japanese-born guy to go in, so way to go.
Well earned, well deserved. Now needs to join Jim Palmer as the only Hall of Famer that tries to make a comeback. Because if you've seen some of Ichi's videos, he's pitching, he's striking people out, he's hitting dingers in BP. Ichi, if you're listening to this, congratulations. Come on, just come back for one spring training, play in one game so we can say it happened.
He's 51.
I just want everyone to know I'm super happy because the value of this bat just went way up. So.
That's true.
And you know what? Thanks, Ichi, for not personalizing it. Thank you. Mwah! My retirement plan. Thank you.
He's 51. I will say, to play to Kratz's point, there are lifers, guys that just love the game, more than anything else really in life, and all they want to do is be around baseball. Ichiro is high up, if not number one, on that list. I mean, you really had to grab, scratch, and claw the jersey away from him down the stretch of his career to get him to stop playing. And he still wanted to be around the team.
He still probably could try and play, but
yeah,
he was a machine. The stuff he did, again, changed the thoughts of baseball and Japanese baseball players coming over. He kind of opened the floodgates for position players to come over from Japan. It was a long myth that, Japanese position players couldn't play in the major leagues. Well, he kind of came over and proved them wrong. And then it started the Matsui boys and a bunch of them now. You see him coming over slowly but surely. But he was the first, and he's the first one in the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, and, man, he was a terror to play against.
Mm-hmm.
So many things. Yeah, so many things that people can take from. I never played with him, but guys that I played with that were young when they played with him at the end of his career, guys are going to be using Christian Yelich. Batting title, a dude that then unlocked his power. Credits a lot of what he could do unlocking his power, because he could always hit in high school, but unlocking his power in pro ball, in the big leagues, was something that he credits Ichiro to. And, you sit there and you go, that's a guy that's then giving his info over to giving advice over to a future MVP in Yelich. And that's just how the game goes. And Ichiro has passed it along, and Hall of Fame is just the tip of the iceberg for what this guy has done in his career.
The other thing I think about that's cool is how there was always this myth around the power that was there and how he could put on a show in BP. So I just picture, a dad or a mom walking around with their kid or kids at the Hall of Fame, going through, looking at Ichiro's plaque, being like, this was your prototypical leadoff hitter, infield knocks, supreme contact, all this stuff. But legend says he actually could have hit a bunch of homers, and he just didn't play his game that way.
True.
I saw it.
True.
Do you believe it?
I believe it. He hit a walk-off homer I was catching, so I've seen him hit homers before.
Mm-hmm.
He could do it. I saw him at BP. I played with him. I saw him do a lot of special things, man. This guy was unbelievable. The all-time hits leader in the season. I mean, the amount he got, 246 that year? That's unbelievable. 240-plus hits in 1 year?
262 in 2004.
There was 262. Even more. That's almost 100 more hits than you can play games. That's insane.
His career high homer total was 15. Do you think he could have hit 30? Or that's
I don't know, 30, but he could have definitely got to 20s.
Okay. Yeah, because
a lot of people can hit homers in BP. His homers in BP almost looked like they landed at the exact same seat every single time. And he would just hit a round of 7, and there was 6 homers. They all ended up at the same place. It was just different. Like, he just had an ability that very few guys have.
Mm-hmm. Well, congrats again to Ichiro. Mm-hmm. You're a Hall of Famer. Hey, congrats, Billy Wagner. You finally freaking made it. You're a Hall of Famer. Man, he had to climb and climb year after year to get there. And this dude was a strikeout machine. But I think with time, as strikeouts are valued more, it certainly helped his cause. Do you agree?
I totally agree. Nasty lefty, high 90s fastball, wicked slider. I only got to face him once. It was in an exhibition game in Atlanta. And I came back to the dugout. I was like, whew, thank God that guy's in the National League. I never have to see him. But not a fun at bat for lefty. Short arm and just big old tree trunk legs and just downhill fire. One of the best relievers of all time and one of the most underrepresented talents in the Hall of Fame is relief pitching. They've started getting more, but Billy Wagner totally deserves this award. Congratulations, Wags, on making it to the Hall of Fame. Finally, like Scott said.
Kratz, don't you sometimes say, oh, you guys are kickers or punters or whatever to the relievers?
Yeah. I mean, this guy's a really good kicker. How about that? And he's always held a special place in my heart because he went to Ferrum University, which is down in Virginia, a Division III school. So as a fellow Division III athlete, well, athlete is a strong term, but fellow Division III baseball player, congratulations. It's incredible to see a guy come from nowhere. And he was ahead of the curve. This dude was, just like AJ said, throwing from the left side, short arm, kind of like a catcher, and just blowing cheese by everybody. And nobody had a chance. He had the record for strikeouts per 9 for a long time for a career. Just got surpassed.
Yeah, well, and depending on what your appearance number is, I think, he's still there. But yes, in that range of best strikeout relievers ever, the difference for me is the guys that are going to set it now are in an era where dudes strike out.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Wagner was playing in the prior era where striking out was embarrassing, right?
Yes. And he still blew by you guys.
That's the thing. So he was ahead of his time because now everyone's like, oh, well, the best way to avoid anything happening is to just not have a ball put in play.
He was Josh Hader before Josh Hader.
Yeah. When there were no other Josh Haders. That's the thing. Nobody else was like him.
But he was Josh Hader. When Josh Hader first came up, it was Billy Wagner before him. He was a two-pitch guy, basically, that threw high fastballs and a back foot slider and just wiped guys out.
For me, this was, I don't have a real vote, but this was an easy yes for me. I lived through watching the Billy Wagner era, and I was like, dude, this guy is different. Sure, he might not have the career saves number that you like. He might not have the postseason resume, although there wasn't a ton of postseason action for him. And he had a few great outings, and he did have a few flubs, but there wasn't a large body of work like, of course, Mariano Rivera had. I'm like, if we're just going to hold the standard to be a few guys, then nobody's ever going to get in.
That's what I said. It's undervalued.
Yeah, it took a long time, though, for Billy Wagner to actually crack this and get the votes that he needed. I disagreed with the process here and felt like people were being a little bit too small haul with
he's
big
in.
strikeout reliever.
You know what, Scott? He's in.
Doesn't
None
matter
of that
now.
matters anymore. He's in, and he deserves it, so congratulations, Billy.
And he was very vocal about it always, too. He would always do interviews and talk about, his process and why he was thinking the way he was thinking back then. And he was a strikeout artist. So congratulations to Billy Wagner. You are a Hall of Famer. Hey, congratulations to CC Sabathia. You are a Hall of Famer. He was humble, too, before the announcement. He posted an emoji of like a nervous face, anticipating, waiting to hear about it. I mean, the numbers were trending in his direction, but until you get the phone call, obviously, he's a little bit nervous. But he certainly racked up a nice career and was a reliable quality innings eater in Major League Baseball.
It was nasty. I remember facing him I faced him in Double-A first time, and he was in Akron. He was young. I was still young.
Did you see it?
Yeah, you could see it, 100%. But you look at him, you're like, dang, he's 19. He was gigantic. You're like, oh boy. And then he got to the big leagues the next year and jumped into the Indians in the postseason and just pitched every fifth day. That was the big thing about CC was he took the ball every fifth day. And he was not a fun at bat. I was left-handed. It was not a fun at bat. He was throwing heaters at 95 plus, that slider down and away. I remember a funny story when he first came up, Jock Jones bunted on him. He's like, nobody bunts him. He drilled Jock. We're like, Jock, that's the guy you went out to dinner with last night. He's drilled you in the ribs for bunting on him, like stuff like that. That was just what CC was. Really great guy. Awesome dude. Congratulations, CC, Amber, and your whole family on getting into the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he was being very truthful in his emoji that he put out there. I've never seen CC nervous. I've never seen him worry about anything. This dude was a beast when I played with him in New York. The way he had to prepare some of his starts, like he was fighting through some injuries, and yet he would always go out there. He never understood when dudes wouldn't post. He never understood when guys were like, yeah, I'm good at this. Like I remember Joe Girardi asking him, and I remember Aaron Boone asking him in separate seasons, hey, you got a little bit? Like, can you go a little more? Never once did I see him go, you know what? I'm good. And as a leader, we talk about it all the time on here, AJ. Pitchers are never leaders. I can say that except for with CC. He was a guy that just had that persona about him. And I think it was because of how he went about his work, but also because of how he conducted himself. And he was able to connect with the youngest guy in the locker room. He was able to connect with all the pitchers, all the position players. Dude could swing it a little bit too. So the American League kind of took that away from us, but he was absolutely hands down a leader in the clubhouse, even as a starting pitcher.
Yep.
He was great. I never played with him. I got to know him a little bit. We went on some vacations and stuff together, and obviously got to face him a lot. I mean, especially in the early days when he was in Cleveland, and then when I was still with the White Sox, he was still with Cleveland. I mean, I was getting those. We were playing them 19 times a game. I was getting 3 or 4 games a year against them, and it was not fun. But I remember when he got traded to Milwaukee. I remember he pitched that night, I believe, in Chicago or the night before, and I caught him on he was in a golf cart leaving after the game, and I was like, hey, good luck in Milwaukee. Thank God you're out of our division. And he was laughing. He was great, though. Yeah. I mean, he was just an awesome dude to be around. Playing with him would have been awesome. But this is well-deserved for CC. His numbers stack up against anybody, especially for a left-handed pitcher. Way to go.
Go look up, if you want to look up the word posting, if you want to look up the word stepping up in big situations, go back and look at when he got traded to Milwaukee. There was talk of him getting enough votes for American League Cy Young and National League Cy Young that year. Obviously, he didn't. Nobody's going to win it in both leagues, but he gives a lot of credit to Charlie Manuel. His first year coming into spring training in what ended up being his rookie year, Chuck was just like Charlie Manuel, who I respect a ton, and we have that connection, CC and I do, just about how he wasn't afraid to stick his neck out on the line. And CC was like, I was immature, but I was ready to be in the big leagues. And Chuck saw that, and everybody else didn't quite see that. And he stuck his neck out on the line for me. And he's like, I'm going to be loyal to that dude for doing that. And that's just, it kind of says what type of person CC is. Like he is in your corner. You can go back to see so many videos of him hitting dudes, of him sticking up for his guys in that season with the Brewers, pitching on 3 days rest for the last month after they just fired their manager in September. Like this guy did it, and he posted, and he played through a lot of stuff. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, congratulations, CC. And I said quality innings eater. It should make it elite innings eater. He gave you elite innings, but he also racked up innings. Went over 200 innings 8 times, including 253 innings in 2008. Had a little bit of postseason time and dominated when he did have that time period too. He was an ALCS MVP, won that World Series in 2009. So props to CC Sabathia on everything that he put together in his career. And congrats, CC, you're a Hall of Famer.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.